Hello, welcome to another edition of Gable's Tutoring Online. You can text your questions to the number on the screen and I will address them. Um, I'm waiting for those questions. In the meantime, maybe I'll do something not to I'll get bored. I'm going to start working on number 27. This is a translation from English to math. So we can translate this to an expression if we write 210 is p% greater than 30. Well, p% greater than 30. Oops, sorry, it's not working here. P% greater than 30. So, and then the question is, what is the value of p? Well, actually, if you subtract 30 from 210, you have that 200 is 180 greater than 210. So I'm going to do something else. So if we divide 180 by 30, you get 6. So if we multiply 30 by a certain number, you get 210. Well, that is the number 7. Which really means that 30 is not 700 greater than 30, but 600% greater than 30. Because to increase a percent, let's say, for example, if I'm going to add 20% to 30, I multiply 30 by 1 plus that percent. So it would be 31 plus the percent converted into a decimal, which is 30 times 1.20, and then you get 36. So using the same idea, 3 multiplied by this expression gives you 210, which means that 1 plus the percent is 180. So this is I'm sorry, it's so this has to be 6. Sorry. I'm sorry, this is 30. This is not, I'm sorry, I made a mistake here. It's 1 plus the percent is 6. 7, I'm sorry. What am I doing? 7, because you divide by 30. I'm paying attention to something else while I'm doing this. And then the percent is 7 minus 1, which is 6, which means 600%. Okay, so I think there's a question there. This is from an SAT practice test. It says the population of a town is experiencing exponential decay. That means it's decreasing. The table below shows the relationship between time in years and the population. Which of the following equations best represents the relationship between T and P? Okay, so first of all, we can do this several ways. We realize that these are really points. The answer, the correct answer, will work with all 3 points, meaning that if you plug in a 0, you get 10,000. If you plug in a 2, you get this value, and if you plug in a 4, you get this value. It is exponential decay, but that doesn't help me because if I look at all my choices here, everything is decay, so I cannot eliminate anything just by knowing that it is decay. So a quick way of doing this would be to just plug in, well, if you plug in a 0, for example, they all work. If you plug in a 2, you should get this value. And it's very easy to check with a calculator. You simply put this in your calculator and to see if you get 9,025. I'm sorry, this is 10,000. So 10,000. And you do not get 9,025, so that's not the answer. I have the feeling it's not going to be B. Let me try C. And then here you put 2 over 2, which is really 1. So it's 10,000. So 10,000. And you get, I get 9,500. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, no, we tested number 1, correct? Yes, we tested number 1, and it did not work. Stupid, did I do number yet? No, I'm sorry. 1 works. How come I said that 1 didn't work? I was probably plugging it into something else. Yeah, 1 works. So when you plug in 2 for 1, you get 9025. Now, when I plug in a 4, do I get this value? If I want to be, I really want to be sure, then I plug in a 4 to see if it works. If Isabella is online and she understands, just reply, tell me that you get it. Just put yes on the chat. So you can do it again if you really want to be safe. And now you plug in a 4. When you plug in a 4, you're supposed to get this. And do you get that? Yes, you do. So that's the answer. The answer is A. So that's really like a brute force method to solve this problem involving elementary arithmetic. Maybe not elementary arithmetic, but just simply arithmetic. So that's how you get that. That is the answer. Let's see if I can upload the next question. Okay, so let's take a look at this one now. In the xy line, align with the equation, and then you have that equation. For some constant d intersects a parabola at 2 points. If the parabola has that equation that is given there, what is the least possible integer value? This is not an integer. Integer value of d. Well, so this is a parabola, and I know the graph of that parabola passes through 1, and that's the y-intercept. Remember that for these questions, you can use Desmos. So let's just illustrate here what this means graphically. So this graphing calculator will be available to you. And you simply input, you can input that function here. Is this minus? Yeah, +1. Okay. So that is the graph of that parabola. And we can see that it passes through 1. And then the second equation is a line. It's a line, really, if you remember, if you divide by 4, you get this, right? That is a horizontal line. This is a horizontal line, and it says that it will meet that parabola twice. And what you want to know, see, as you bring this down, at some point, it will not have two solutions anymore. And the question is, what is the least value of y? As you bring it down, eventually it will touch it only once. So it has to be greater than that. Okay? It has to be greater than that. So, like for example, if I put that line there, let's say equals, say 4y equals, let's say 1, right? Okay, you can see that, just to illustrate, right? You see that this parabola, the line meets the parabola twice, but your goal is to bring it down until it touches it, until it doesn't touch it anymore. Twice. So maybe I can do, let's say 0.5. Maybe I can do -1. You see, if I do -1, I'm still touching it twice. You see? Now, if I keep doing that, eventually that line is going to pass through the vertex. When it reaches the vertex, it will not touch the parabola twice. it will touch the parabola only once. And if you look at the vertex of that parabola, the y coordinate seems to be negative 1/3. Negative 1/3. But at negative 1/3, the parabola is touching, I'm sorry, the line is touching the parabola only once. Right? Now remember that you have 4y equals d. And at the vertex, y is negative 1/3. And what they want is d, not y. So d is negative 4/3 at the vertex. Which means, let me go back here so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Negative 4/3. Oh, sorry. Right? Negative 4/3. Which means that D has to be a little bit greater than that for this thing to work. So negative 4/3. The question is that it has to be an integer. So negative 4/3 is negative 1.3333, right? As a decimal. So if you put the integer that is greater than that, the first integer that is greater than that is negative 1. So if D is less than that, let's say negative 2, and it's not touching it at all. If it's negative 1, it touches it twice. And that's the least that D can be as an integer. Well, I don't know if Isabella understands this. Okay. Isabella, do you understand the question that I just explained? Close this. This is another question here. So you have two circles. So circle E. And then you have another circle that has the same center, but the radius of the other circle is half the radius of circle E. Okay, so, and then the question, what is N? Now look, the second circle, circle F, is equal to this. And it's equal to something. Now remember that N is the radius to the second power, because that is the form of the equation of a circle. I know that the radius of circle E is 5. So this is the correct radius for the second circle. But the question is not what is the radius, but what is the radius to the second power. So 2.5 squared is 6.25. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Well, so we have another one here. Okay. Let's see this one. Okay. So a company plans to purchase these keyboards for 75 employees, and the total budget is $7,500. So they can spend up to $7,500, including a 10% discount. Now, which of the following is closest to the maximum possible price per keyboard before the discount? Okay, so let's try to understand this. They're going to the store, they have $7,500, and then you have these possible prices. To that price, you will apply a 10% discount. So the question is, how high can you go in price and still have enough money to pay for the 75 keyboards? Let's say if you choose 110, right? Let's say you choose 110, then you're gonna get a 10% discount. That means that you will only pay 90% of that price, which is $99. And you multiply that by 75, and you have enough money. But the question is, can I go a little higher? And choose a keyboard whose price is $111.11. Well, I'll do the same thing. And if you do that, then after the discount, this is what you will pay per keyboard. And when you multiply that by 75, then you still have enough money. So you can go as high as this much. Okay, the next one, I think this is the next one. Okay, so you have an exponential function. These numbers belong to an exponential function. They're telling me that. Let me see, let me be careful here. Okay, so they give you, they sort of, they say that the function is defined like this. And obviously I want to find E and F, otherwise I wouldn't be able to find what's E minus F. Okay, so I can use the first point and plug it into this function. Remember, this is Y. This is Y, right? I can write that function like this. But Y is 6. So I put 6 is equal to E times F to the negative 1. Then the F to the negative 1 becomes 1 over F. That means that E is 6F. Okay, I have something now. Let me try another point. I'm going to try the point 1, 24. And I'll do the same thing. But if I find something here, 24 is equal to E times F to the 1. Okay, so that gives me that EF is 24. But from here, I know that E is 6F. So I put 6F times F is 24. So 6F squared is 24. F squared is 4. F is 2. And now I have F. And since I have F, I can find E. Because E is 6F. So E is 12. What is it that they want? E minus F. So E minus F. It should be 10. I see a 10 there, so that should be the answer. It's almost a little harder, Isabel. But tell me if you understand it. I'm probably going to have to go through the explanation a second time. But